I don't despise her. I love her. Not like that. I mean, she isn't a sister, but she and Rand, Matt, here we go.
Hey, man. So, in the most recent episode of Wheel of Time, season 1, episode 7, Dark Along the Ways, there was a quite interesting moment, where we were saying, wow, Perrin and Egwene, huh? That seems kind of out of left field. That wasn't really something that we remembered, and Reddit today was kind of blowing this up and saying, actually, there might be a line to suggest that, but we think it might have some implications later on. But it's certainly interesting. Do you think they are pushing this forward as a showism? Do you think they're like, hey, well, there's this one line we can really kind of make bigger than it really ever was? I mean, what do we think now that we've had a day, watched the episode again, saw the way that some of the things people are saying about it? What are we thinking now?
Well, I think maybe when they were making the show too, the whether it's Rafe or some of the other writers, when you first read The Eye of the World and you don't know anything, you don't know where the story is going to go, you're just reading it. I did kind of feel like Perrin and Egwene when he's watching her dance with Aram and the Tinkers, he's upset, but he's also kind of like him being upset about it seemed a little bit more than just he's looking out for his buddy. He did seem a little bit more personally invested in her. Maybe it's just two Rivers folk mixing with Tinkers. But and I kind of thought, does he have a thing for her? I did think that as a reader. I wondered it. Now I didn't actually catch this line that we read, but I felt like, okay, there is something to this line, and maybe as a first read through, you might think this. Now it quickly goes away. We don't dwell on it, and then you start to think about the show and Egwene and who she was in the Two Rivers, and it's like, yeah, she's like the mayor's daughter. She's I mean, popular in the town. She's known. Everyone knows her. And why wouldn't maybe not even just Perrin, but other individuals have a crush on her? And if you're Layla coming in as an outsider, well, what does my guy Perrin think about the most popular girl in town? I think that makes sense. It's a possibility that they felt like there's some evidence for it in the books, and we can go with that. I'm surprised. I'm still shocked and surprised because it's just minimal. It doesn't seem like there's much at all for it, but it was great. They had a really good tender moment when Egwene is captured by Valda and Perrin is there being tortured, and she's talking him through some of his feelings. So there's a closeness there. But yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they do. And then I guess we wonder, too, if any of this had to do with Barney Harris leaving. Matt, right? Was some of that story pushed around, moved around for this episode? But it was definitely something that, man, people seem pretty split on. In our chat last night, people were saying this is a huge departure. I don't like this at all. Feels like they're just trying to ship Egwene and Perrin together. We talked about the possibility of, are they even going to cast Fael? Maybe Egwene and Perrin get together. Who knows? Because it's all possible. It's all
Right. At this
possible.
point, we have no idea. Yeah, exactly. So there were people saying that Rafe Judkins, that they essentially made this up, and we're trying to point out, and this is full credit to Never on Reddit is the user who 13 hours ago posted this. It has over 629 comments. I will leave a link to it in the description for you guys. But I wanted to call attention to one. Salty Sparrow from the Yellow Aja pointed out like a theory or some speculation that I thought was interesting, that there are characters coming up later. You do need this element where Fael will feel jealous, where she's going to feel jealous about Barrelane and just any girl that comes across, when he's in the Two Rivers and girls are coming up to, Lord Perrin him this and that or whatever. She's putting them all, sending them away and all this kind of stuff, right? She has a bit of a jealousy issue. And so, yeah, Barrelane's not there. Some folks, especially Salty Sparrow here, was suggesting that maybe it's going to be Egwene, that when she meets Perrin, these rumors are still surrounding him and that he has a crush on Egwene. Or I more think it's that they're going to be dealing with the loss of his wife. But I thought it was interesting because I had forgotten about Barrelane,
Right. And his wife too, that's an important part too. I mean, we were
Right.
thinking maybe she was a dark friend and it was, the Matcha Shin was telling him perhaps it was because you had eyes for another. So that's going to be something kind of interesting to think about going forward. I mean, I don't think that this was just a one episode thing. This to me is something that's going to play out into season 2 and so on. And this could be something, potentially with Fail. Now, the idea here, and we've continuously talked about this all the time, is what's going to get cut, what's going to stay. Can you cut Berlane? Is that a character?
I don't know. I don't know that. I think she's a fandom favorite. I think a lot of people do like Berlane, and she's definitely a strong female character. I don't know that they will cut her, but you start to just shift stuff around. I mean, that's you know, you look at what they did with Matt in the Two Rivers and what they've done with Perrin. They gave Perrin a wife. So if they keep Berylane, I think the idea is there's so many characters that she could I don't know that she could, whether it's in tier or wherever she does this. Again, she's right now, if we're talking to show folks, this is a character who approaches the Lord Dragon later on and she tries to seduce him. All right. Because she's trying to defend her people and her country and be close to power so that way she can be in on some of the politics. And I think you'll still have that person because she is used quite a bit in the series and she's significant later on, sticks around and is a good ruler. So it would be nice to see someone like that come through. And she's a piece, Matt, that you can send her to Rand, you can send her to
Yeah.
Perrin, you can stir the pot, just sending her all over the different places because that's who she is, what she does a little bit in the series. So I don't know that you're going to cut her, but you might shift some stuff around or just have this Egwene thing be a lingering situation. One more quick comment here, just from Animec, one of the other users on here, has said that it'll go somewhere. The show's not just setting up Perrin's long term arc on dealing with. I'm sorry, they are setting up his long term arc of dealing with his inner demons. So in this universe, mostly a tendency to take on guilt. Right, Perrin is always dealing with that. There might be also a possibility that Layla was jealous. She had some jealousy or learned something about the Egwene situation. Clearly, Nynaeve knew about it, and that Machin Shin is making him doubt his love and making him think that Layla was right, and that's why he killed her. So there's that deal. Like even though it's not necessarily it's not true, and that we know that there are lies in the Black Wind, but it got to him, and it maybe gets to him more than anyone else. Egwene's already telling Rand to get over it, to move on, but it really got to Perrin, and so I think we will see him deal with it long term. Not even just the Egwene, but it's gonna be it all goes back to his wife. That's it.
And what's going on? Dark friend or not? I mean, we have a full video on it. Is she a
Yeah,
dark friend? And we see the wolves eating her in episode 3, I think was the episode where
uh,
he's having that nightmare.
right.
But
Yeah.
yeah. So ultimately, guys, I don't know. Leave us a comment. Let us know. What do you think is going to be the direction they're going to continue to go with this potential feelings? I don't think it's ever going to become an actual relationship or anything. But Perrin and Egwene
Drama.
feelings,
Feelings.
drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leave us a comment. Let us know. And remember that the grave is no bar to our call.